it looks like Antarctica out there. I love it. It's a different planet, for the Star Wars fans out there. It's the ice planet Hoth.
It's
on
the
Presque
ice planet
Isle.
Hoth. I love it. All right, so you okay? Let me just lean in on this a second here.
Yeah.
You felt bullish or more as confident enough about the economy, plus probably family circumstances. Mm-hmm. The kids are getting bigger or whatever. Small house, you want to get a bigger house.
Yep.
But you need to have that financial, confidence to make a move like you did.
Yep.
Do you feel like you're exemplary of a lot of folks your age in your season of life of saying, you know what? I think I'm going to make this move. I'm going to make a significant move in my life.
Right. And it's, but I'm a financial planner, right? So I do plan out everything. And whether my wife and I talk about it, we've talked every step of the way. I have plans in my own mind. And we originally bought a house in Erie, I can say that now, of, our first house 15 years ago. And it was a house we said, all right, we're in town, we're close to work, and we'll probably move some point in the future after kids are born,
Yeah.
And my oldest now is in 6th grade, and we just moved. So it was a little bit late, but it took a lot of planning and thinking about the next step, and then financially looking at it, because the housing market has shifted so much the last 5-6 years, meaning the prices for somebody who's buying, you get a little sticker shock on what we liked and what we looked at 5 years ago was double the price, and people get excited because their own house, the one that we owned, about doubled in price in 15 years.
So it you had the commiserate.
Like it didn't matter because they're going, well, I've got to put that money into the next house, right? So it didn't really do anything for me because both things, doubled in price. But it took a lot of planning. And then I would say what happened to us, it was the Lord's timing. Something fell into our lap. Somebody we knew, we found out was selling. It wasn't on the market yet. But a lot of things had to line up, we had to do a lot of planning and talking and doing we bought a project.
Yes.
So we also had to know, here's the first thing we have to do, literally whole new roof the first month we moved in.
Sure.
Another winter project that's just finishing up. And so you have to think about that of going, okay, where's the cash flow coming from? Where are we at? When are we out of the money?
Did you need a bigger snow blower or a snow plow or
a tractor? I had to buy a tractor.
You had to buy it. Again.
With a front end loader.
But that, that's a real expense.
Expense and time, so first time in a long time I've driven a tractor.
So what would you, so you're talking to another family in your neck of the woods as far as financially raising kids or whatever.
Yep.
What kind of advice would you give them? Because that major purchase, whatever it is coming.
Yeah, the fun part is we're Americans, is the first thing I would say. And there's a lot of choices. There's a lot of things we all want. And there's a lot of things, you got to decide what do you need and what do you want. And then look for those opportunities. What's good. I tease people. I can talk a little bit about it. My wife and I, I'm an old country boy. I grew up over in Ohio. We moved just outside of town and we bought a little bit of property is what we did. But I keep teasing people. It's just about my kids. I got 4 kids under the age of 12. This is just to make them happy. It's just about opportunities. No, it's not about me making me happy. And that's a joke.
But you're going to have to mow a few acres in the spring.
We had to make that choice for what's important to us. What are we going to spend time and money on? Money choices of what you put in. So we didn't buy as nice of a house as we could because we knew that was going to be a project, but we got a little bit more space. So that's what I drill into when it comes to the finances. It's all about, you can't have everything in life, right? So you got to pick what's most important to you. And then you plan for it and say, okay, what can we accomplish when it comes to the money? How much do we need to save up? How much are we comfortable with spending for the next 15 years? So it's forward thought, not in the moment thought of what do I want right now. It's thinking, how am I going to do this over the next 5, 10, 15 years?
Talk about the goal setting. I think this is huge, where you're saying, okay, if I could, let's say you have a school loan.
Yep.
If I could clear this school loan, then it's like an if-then algorithm.
Right.
Then I could try to do the next step in my financial being.
Right. I was just talking to somebody about my generation, a big generation of 25-year gap of everybody between today 25-year-old to 45-year-old of looking at it, you know, buying first houses and things, and we hear a lot about that conversation. And the problem, as I see it now, is that most of us, our parents in this generation, our parents did really well in their lives. They started off with a small little house and they moved into another one. They had a bunch of kids and they live in a very nice home now. Well, when we all graduated from college, guess what kind of house we wanted?
What the parents had at the very end.
You don't want a starter house.
No.
You want the house you're used to. You want to go live. You want to live in a house like, believe it or not, like a house like your parents live in, right? And you also remember the very good things that have happened for the last 50 years. You remember going on vacations and going on trips with your parents and how much fun that was and how that was the best thing that happened in those years. And so guess what you want to do every single year?
Trips, yeah.
Every year. I want to go on a couple of those because those are the best things that can happen, right?
Wow.
But traditionally, that's not the way life works, right? Is that we need to go through those steps in life. And you think through that. And how do I want to get there? Maybe it's not today because you shouldn't go into debt to do all that today. You shouldn't hurt your financial future because you want to do something today. Right. And so it's planning it out. And those are all good things. And they've got their spaces. But not enough people. We see people that overextend on the house purchase, but they still want to do all that other stuff. They want to do all the fun things too. I want to drive 2 new vehicles. I want to, take the trips. I want to go out to eat 9 times a week, know, and you go, well, wait, there is sacrifices if you're not financially ready to do it. And so it's all about thinking through what are keeping the long-term goals in mind with the short-term stuff too.
Not to sound negative at the beginning of the year, but that's really where it doesn't, oftentimes it doesn't even matter what your income is. You could fall into that trap of being overextended at any level, whether you make $40,000 a year or $400,000 a year.
100%. Yeah, and it's surprising. Some people don't think it's going to be that way. I'm telling you, as a financial advisor, I meet with all sorts of people that have different, something else is going on. You always got to figure out the next step. So that's a very true statement, is that not the amount of income is not, I would say, the determining factor. It's the responsibility or having an idea in mind, being intentional with your money. Being intentional is a good thought.
Let's stay with the young folks here. I didn't dig into this. I've only heard cursory some news about the Trump bonds. Or have you heard any of this? Where
the new Trump accounts?
The Trump accounts. They want to give money to babies.
Yeah, sounds pretty interesting.
What do you know about it?
I'll start that off by saying I'm not an expert about it. Because not everybody is yet.
It just was literally released in the last couple of weeks, right?
Right, and it's all coming. And in my world, as a financial advisor, we use we use Ameriprise as our broker dealer.
Yes,
and I would say a lot of the broker dealers out there, a lot of these companies, they're all getting ready for it. Basically.
Okay. So they're going to have to run it.
Banks are gonna, and financial institutions.
For some reason, I thought the Fed was running.
They're all going to want to get into it. Basically, okay. They're going to offer it. You got to go somewhere to do it.
Okay.
So, but that's not all set in stone yet, as far as I can tell, either. But they sound very interesting. For me, they don't sound very complicated either. They're not going to be a ton of choices. The idea is the fees are going to be really low. You're going to be able to put a certain amount of money into them, and then it's set aside and going to grow for a child. Not a bad idea.
They're saying things like $1,000 untouched from a baby to when you're 60-something could accumulate to hundreds of thousands of dollars. Does
maybe?
I mean, have you heard some of this stuff?
Yeah.
Where somebody was saying if you put $5,000 a year in for your kid, which again for a lot of families that would be a lot,
right?
But
that's why.
But each year, until 18 or something, They could be a double millionaire by 60.
If you think about that, that'd
left unaccosted.
That'd be $60,000 a year for 18 years. That'd be 600,000 plus another 480. So that's $1 million contributions in 18 years. If you were to, I'm sorry. Yeah, I did a little much. Never mind.
Yeah,
I did my math wrong there.
But
trying to do it on the fly.
Right.
But it's a lot of contributions. But then the growth for 50 years is a huge number.
The compounding interest is that's the factoid of this whole thing.
Oh, yeah.
Is getting started early. Whether you're an 18-year-old,
I'm
boring. Working,
There's only one secret to investing. I'm boring. It's time.
Yeah.
Right? That's the only secret.
Yeah.
Gambling's always a short-term proposition. Investing's always a long-term proposition. And so if you have a long enough time frame, it's going to grow. Or that's been true for the last 120 years in America.
Yeah.
That's not a guarantee. It depends on what you put the money in. So those new Trump accounts, they sound interesting. They sound like a low-cost option, a way to put money into it.
Yeah.
Again, not the expert. One of my questions would be really thinking through, again, as a planner, of if I'm going to put money away from my child, I like that. When do they get control over the money?
Or the kids.
Yes.
Because that could be a problem.
Is it age 18?
Right.
It's all theirs, right? And you've put 50, 60 grand into an account. Not a lot of 18-year-olds handle that money great. So I'm not discouraging people from doing it. I'm just saying I would really think through it, though, of what's the control over it as well as a parent. Do you think your kids will be in that position where they handle that gift very well? And my first always, are you taking care of yourself first?
Yeah.
Right?
Put the mask on first before you put the mask on the gift.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So they're a new tool that I think everybody should become aware of. And if there is some sort of bonus for new children and that's where they're going to put money into it, that's always something to look into too, is going, hey, are we eligible to actually have a deposit made for us? Because if we don't do it, then that's money just sitting there, basically.
Well, free money from the feds is always a good thing.
Oh my gosh.
Right?
I guess so. Yeah.
Well, I guess, yeah.
I don't know.
Little bit of... no, you know what they're saying? It's actually... What I'm hearing is that there are private philanthropists that are funding this.
Right.
Michael Dell or something like that.
I just sigh because it's a slippery slope.
I know.
Government printing money.
All right, so we talked about the babies. Let's talk about the older folks. There's a lot of... I mean, more and more and more boomers are retiring.
Yeah.
More and more people are hitting that 65, looking at Medicare, looking at full Social Security at 67, right? Mm-hmm. Thoughts? What are the pitfalls that you're seeing? People not saving enough? I mean, people needing to do accelerated 401ks and IRAs?
Oh, always. You asked me a question before we came on the air, though, that I would think I still am excited. You asked me how I was feeling about the market.
Yeah.
How I think people are feeling right now. And it's a very funny, at least the people that I'm seeing, to tell you the truth, we feel great right now.
Yeah, I mean, we're hitting record highs.
It has nothing to do with me. It has everything to do with just where we're at economically, cycle-wise.
Yeah.
Most people the last few years, just through everything we see, everything going on in the world, all over the world, here in the United States, the politics, what people are upset about, all of that, not giving an opinion on any of it, but people then wonder about the money. And what's exciting, or what feels really good right now, I think, is that most of the markets are behaving the way we would expect them to, historically.
Okay.
Because basically the market acted like we were in a recession in 2022. And now for the last 3 years, it's been growing, which is historically very accurate. Is that you go through a major downturn like we did a few years ago, you would expect to be in the upswing. And we were talking about this of, last year, the S&P was in the mid-teens for returns, percentage-wise. Think of all the things that happened in the news. This is a news station. All the things that happened last year.
And so, if you had $100,000 in your retirement fund, it's 117 grand.
Right. And what did the market tell you about how our economy's doing? Everybody's arguing about how things are going right now, but what did the market tell you?
All right, let me play devil's advocate. I only got like 2 more minutes. with Ben Reiter here from Kingdom Financial Group. Worried about the gold price. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So that's usually a hedge against inflation and craziness.
Yeah.
Housing market the bubble has already burst in places like Florida and Texas and Arizona, right? Mm-hmm. Not necessarily in the Northeast.
Yeah.
So I mean, and then you've got the AI bubble, the Magnificent Seven.
Yeah.
How overpriced? What is that? The earnings per share?
Yeah.
It's like in the 200s for
high.
Tesla or whatever.
Yeah.
Pretty high. It's huge. Okay, so what do you deal with that news?
You gave me 2 minutes there. What I would say is that you keep looking at where are you hearing it from? Actually, I mean, you mentioned 3 different things. I'll throw in another one, like Bitcoin, right? And every time I read an article today or I read something, it's kind of funny how I always get to the end of it, and then I'm really curious who wrote it and why they wrote it, okay? When they talk about gold, do you find out, most of their money is in gold? Or you find out, they're really down on the markets, and then you find out, well, they're actually one of the biggest owners of Bitcoin, so they want people to be afraid of it. Or the vice versa. They'll be poo-pooing Bitcoin and gold because it's JP Morgan or whatever.
Yeah, they're all full in on
Not
equities,
to drop
right?
a name,
Yeah.
but so I go again. Always look for your sources. And then stats are always tough. I always say people, one stat is a lie. 2 stats might tell you the truth, right? Mm-hmm. Because when we look at earnings per share, and if people are using that word, even with the AI bubble, it may or may not be. But what's very interesting, that term, I think today really came from 2001 when we had a tech bubble burst. I feel like it's when we all really, first time we learned what a bubble was, because everybody was buying internet stocks.
Pets.com, toys.com, whatever.
And this is for people to look into, but when you came to the tech stocks then and internet stocks, what those companies were doing was they actually weren't generating any revenue, right? Now the AI companies today, which are getting, the price is getting more expensive, but they do have revenue. And so that's an argument they're making currently, not me, but they're making that argument saying, hey, this is a little different. These are legitimate companies that are getting into a new technology.
You just have to watch for the circular investments.
Right.
You have the tech hardware suppliers buying into the AI companies who are buying into the tech hardware supplies.
So to put a bow on it,
Yes.
It's actually been an interesting and fun 3 years when it comes to the money. I'm trying to tease people and say, I sound like the gross money guy most time. With all the things that are going on in the world, I point to it and go, hey, there still is some really good opportunities, some good things happening. We all might be mad or we might be worked up about a certain thing, but every one of us is still going to the store each night and buying new things. The economy has still been growing, at least for the last 3 years, and that's kind of a question mark. And if you're missing out on that, or you don't have a plan, or you're not seeing growth in anywhere in your finances, you have been missing the boat the last couple of years. And it might be time to make a change.
Phone number for Ben Reiter and Kingdom Financial?
814-836-5234.
Great to see you, Ben Reiter. Next time we have somebody from your firm, we're going to be talking taxes.
Yeah.
It's time to talk taxes.
We didn't even say anything. Thank goodness.
Back after this.